Hello and welcome to an update from Paris, France. I'm here on my way home from production, but that's not what this video is about. This is an update. I just started editing my year in review video for 2019. I cannot wait to show it to you. I'm not giving myself a deadline yet, but soonish. So when I started editing this video, I realized that there were a few things that I captured this year, 10 of them actually, which were really amazing, but that probably wouldn't make it in the year in review in an extended form. So without further ado, I wanted to go over my top 10 moments I captured on video this year. Number 1, while on a safari production in Zimbabwe, I had just gotten out of our safari truck to shoot some photos of nearby elephants. As I was shooting the photos, the elephant herd came closer to our safari truck while I was still outside. What ended up happening is the guide and I were laying down in front of our van as the elephants walked up this path. The first group of elephants didn't seem very interested, but the very last one came up super close and was very curious about what was going on. I was in a position where I couldn't run, couldn't move, basically was at the full mercy of this animal, but it was something I'll definitely never forget. Number 2, I'm noticing a theme of danger across these first two. Anyway, when I was in Cappadocia, Turkey, the first time I went out to shoot the sunrise, I encountered a herd of dogs. And these feral dogs are pretty common in this region, but these guys chased me up on top of this rock where I was for about 35 minutes. I ended up having to use my drone that I had brought with me to shoot sunrise to scare away the dogs. Ended up being totally fine, but yeah, I spent about 35 minutes trapped up on these rocks while 6 dogs circled, barked, growled at me. Definitely a memorable one. Number 3, on that same trip to Turkey, I went and explored some of these cave ruins carved into a hillside. We met this old man who shows people around this establishment, and he actually took me down this path and he showed me the creek that runs through the mountain, through the cave. And of course, you know, they deem it to be holy water. So I had a little sip. I'm gonna drink the holy water.
Yes, super water. Fresh water.
Okay. Felt totally fine. It was a pretty cool experience.
It's pretty good.
Wow, this was a good year if this is number 4. Watching the solar eclipse, the total solar eclipse in Chile, I made some new friends on production down there. And we hiked up to the top of this mountain, had the most incredible viewpoint. And we watched this thing happen to our complete and utter amazement. We were blown away, screaming, crying, laughing. It was a mix of incredible emotions, and it was a ton of fun to be able to experience that with other people. Just the joy and amazement that these people had when they were seeing their first solar eclipse really added to my experience, and that's something I recommend everybody try to do at some point, is see a total solar eclipse. Number 5, I went to Hawaii and swam with sharks in the open ocean. No cages, totally exposed to the sharks, and learned that they aren't really very interested in people. For the most part, they were just curious, kept their distance, took a couple close peeks, but it was beautiful. Obviously sharks get kind of a bad rep, but I thought that this was one of those experiences that completely changed my perspective of sharks. Number 6, on production in Doha with my buddy Garrett, we were shooting some footage at sunset of this harbor, which had all these old Qatari boats, and a Qatari man named Jihad invited us onto a boat he had been restoring.
My name is Jihad. Jihad. Yeah, I am the owner for the boat. Thank you for having us.
And he kind of gave us a tour, and was one of those super authentic, rich experiences where you just learn a lot about someone else's culture and the customs there just by having this interaction with them in their natural environment. So that was really cool. Number 7 was on production in the Bahamas. I was shooting a private tour down there. We were shooting this crazy adventure challenge, kind of like an episode of Survivor almost. We spent the day testing out some of these challenges that were being set up, trying to figure out how hard it might be, how painful it might be, and just had some great laughs with a good crew of people. Number 8, in Zion National Park, my sister and I got up for sunrise and hiked to the top of Angel's Landing. We were the 2nd and 3rd people to the top, and it was one of those experiences where you never regret getting up early to just have that moment of serenity in such a beautiful place. It's also a pretty exhilarating hike when you're exposed to these cliff sides. That was really cool. Number 9, on my way home from the Doha production, my buddy Garrett and I stopped over in Paris, where I am right now, for a 16-hour layover. We started the day in Doha watching the sunrise from the dunes of Qatar, and then ended the day watching sunset in Paris. And it was one of those days where air travel feels like time travel. We had never been to Paris before, so seeing the Eiffel Tower for the first time, some incredible romantic vibes with some dancing, and then the next morning getting up for sunrise to see some goofy influencers floating a giant inflatable flamingo in the pools right in front of the Eiffel Tower. It was just a great, quick experience that felt like 100% worth it. Number 10, as you guys know, I love traveling in these luxurious airplane seats and using my miles and points to do so. And on my way back from Africa, I was flying in Lufthansa first class. I was seated in seat 1A in the 747, forwardmost person on the entire aircraft, including the pilots. I had woken up from about 8 hours of sleep. I was very comfortable, very well rested. I remember looking out the window, flying over Monaco, and just thinking, like, this is the coolest experience in the world, and being super, super grateful to have had an experience like that. So thankfully this year was full of a lot of experiences like that. It was full of a lot of others that I captured on video, but particularly, whoa, flying camera. Anyway, this year was an incredible one as far as the diversity of experience, and I think the year in review video will show you guys a little bit more of that. I'm working on making that the most special video I've made to date, and I really appreciate the interest in that project. So stick around for that one, and I'll see you guys soon. Peace.